Gordon McMURDO, Transport Operations Manager. It's very hard to believe it was as long ago as it is, but I started back with Ian Murdoch, the father, back in 1983 as a yard boy and working in the storage facility that they actually had, loading and unloading lorries, until I turned 21. And then Mr Murdoch put me through my HGV Class 1. In those days you could go direct for your Class 1. And I did a 5-day course to go through my Class 1 and passed it first time, thankfully. However, I must admit it was quite a nerve-wracking situation at the time, but we got there, yeah.
Did you feel that the tutelage of Ian Murdoch Sr. helped you pass first time?
Oh, definitely, yes. He was very encouraging towards young people. It would appear that he likes to see young people getting on in life, you know, and he very generous in helping people. So back in those days, it was fantastic for me. That's what I wanted to do, was to be a lorry driver. And then when you passed your licence, he wouldn't let you out on an Arctic first. You got a four-wheeler, and you went out on that, and then you would learn from the other drivers, roping and sheeting and all the rest of it. He did all that in those days. And then I remember the curtainsiders came in to start with, and went, oh my goodness, this will make things so much easier. So no, it was good training.
It's quite remarkable how in such a relatively short time the industry has changed so much. I mean, there may well be people watching this or reading about it who don't know what a curtainsider is because they've never seen one, and certainly have no idea what roping and sheeting was.
Yeah.
I'll confess to knowing both these things merely through longevity, but nonetheless there's been a lot of changes in a relatively short space of time, and you must have seen all that happen.
Yeah, a massive amount of changes, you know, there's no doubt about it. When I was with Murdochs, as I said, they had a lot of flatbed work and curtainside, but they didn't move a lot of plant in those days, and that's what I really enjoyed, being brought up in the agricultural industry. I love working machines and everything. So they had a couple of little low loaders that we used, and I used to always enjoy going out on that, moving machinery, you know. But you see the way things have passed. I mean, one of the vehicles I had when I was here 40 years ago was a 280 man diesel, and now the guys out there are driving similar vehicles, but they've got a 750 engine in them. It's quite astonishing how it's evolved.
So you've got a bit of a penchant for the project load there, project cargo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a challenge. You know, you get sent out for a machine that you've never operated before. It's a good challenge to get that on the trailer and secure it safely. It's even better to get it off the trailer safely and deliver it.
I'm hesitating because I don't want to mention the issue of bridge bashing, because obviously when you've got a project load on the back, that's something that you've got to be really aware of.
Yes, absolutely. You've got to be aware. But I find it, as you say, you're scared to say too much in case you incur a situation. But it's what I find when I step into a lorry to drive it, it all comes back to you very quickly, and you realise you start looking about for low bridges, tight corners, etc., you know. So yeah, but you do have to be aware.
I suppose with so much cargo now being in intermodal containers, there's such a degree of standardisation that I guess there's the danger that entrants to the profession might not just have experienced such a broad spectrum of work as you have yourself.
Well, you're quite right with that, because I mean, since I've been back with the company from September last year, we've had a couple of interviewees that have come along, and they can talk the talk, but when you actually see them out in a vehicle, you wonder they've maybe oversold themselves a little bit, you know. I think that's where Ian Murdoch had the correct idea, that he would put you out in a small vehicle first, so you learned the initial trade, as it were, and then once he thought that you were fit and capable enough to operate a larger vehicle, taking into the cost of these vehicles as well. He's not just going to send out a young 21-year-old lad a set of keys to drive a vehicle that's maybe 130, 140,000. You know, it's you have to be very careful, you know.
Well, God, with respect, the Murdochs and indeed yourself, have all been out behind the wheel at a much younger age than that as well.
Well, that's correct. I, as I mentioned earlier, was brought up in the agricultural industry, so I was driving tractors and trailers from about 10 years old, so you knew where to turn left and where to turn right, but more to the point, you could reverse a tractor and trailer, which is the same principle as a class 1 vehicle. Sometimes actually a lorry is easier to reverse than a tractor and trailer because it's shorter coupled, but you had the basics, and you also had the situation where on the farms you get told once how to do a job, and if you had to get told twice, that was it. You never got told 3 times. So coming to work with Mr. Murdoch, it was the same principle. You learned quick.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
But, I'm just reading between the lines here and going to suggest to you that perhaps overall roadcraft isn't quite what it used to be.
No, you're definitely right. I mean, if you go back the 40 years that we're talking about, the volume of traffic that was on the road at that point to now, it's quite something different. I mean, I think I'm right in saying that in Glasgow, if we were heading out the M8, as long as you were over the Kingston Bridge before 8:15, you were all right. Now, if you're not over that before 7 o'clock in the morning, you're just in a massive queue of traffic. And I don't think that new, more up-to-date drivers, as in car drivers, appreciate what a lorry driver is actually handling there. Whether he's empty or more so when he's loaded, the manoeuvrability of these vehicles isn't just as easy as they expect it to be. A lot of drivers nowadays, I've got 2 young daughters now, and when I see them out driving, sometimes it scares you.